best friend, my sister Travita, and we will be talking about Chiari malformation. But before we begin, um, I would like to go to the throne and pray. Heavenly Father, it's once again we call upon your name. We ask that you be in the midst of the conversation tonight. We ask that the words and the thought behind it reaches who it needs to reach, and is taken in the way that you would have it taken. I also would like to thank you for traveling grace and mercy. Um, I've been on the go all weekend, as you know, Lord God, but I thank you for keeping me safe. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen.
Travita,
Yes, ma'am.
how are you?
I am blessed and highly favored.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I wanted to talk to you tonight about Chiari malformation.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
know that that's a condition that you are currently dealing with and have been dealing with for quite some time. Could you tell the people what Chiari malformation is?
Yes. Chiari malformation is a serious neurological condition that does not have a cure for it. Unfortunately, most people think that the decompression surgery is a cure, but it is not. It is just to help to slow down the progressiveness of the symptoms that we each deal with. Um, and it is, it's a progressive condition, but it also helps to um, slow down the progression of some of the symptoms and to alleviate the pain that is associated with Chiari.
Okay. How long have you had it, or how long have you known that you've had it?
Um, I've known that I've had it since 2009. Um,
Hmm.
but from what I understand is that I was born with this condition, just
Okay.
misdiagnosed for years.
So I was reading where it's a condition in which brain tissue extends into the spinal canal present
Mhm.
at birth. It occurs when part of the skull is abnormally small or misshapen. I'm sorry. Symptoms include pain and trouble swallowing. Treatment may involve monitoring and surgery. Medication may be given to manage symptom-like pains, but there is no cure. How has it affected your life?
It has affected my life in many, many different ways. Um, Number one, I have a headache every day. It is if you've ever had a migraine headache and you multiply that by 10 with the burning sensation in the neck and shoulders, that is what I'm dealing with most of the time.
Hmm.
It's not easy. Um, I have issues with my balance at times. I have issues with holding things at times. Like it's just random. I can drop something that seems as if I have a good hold on it, but I don't. My knees and stuff will get weak at times. So it causes a lot of different things. And trying to live a sense of normalcy. Um, My normal is different from somebody else's normal. I'll say
Right,
that.
right. You say you have headaches more days than not. How
Mhm.
do you alleviate the pain?
I honestly don't alleviate the pain. I've just learned certain things to kind of ease it, but not
Hmm.
alleviate it. I used to take medications that would keep me bedridden, so to speak,
Hmm.
to where I was just sleeping. And at the time when you have small kids, teenage kids, that's not always the best thing to do because that's when they tend to do whatever they want to do.
Right.
And that was not a good thing. That was not a good space to be in to where you're just functioning off of sleep and you're only up for moments to eat and take the medication. So I've learned little tricks that actually help, and that's usually a concoction of basically extra strength Tylenol and Benadryl, and
Okay.
go to sleep for a little while, and then it helps me to function. But most of the time, I've just learned to not take the medicine because I don't like being groggy all the time. Because Benadryl is that lingering effect of being sleepy, and I don't like that.
Right. Me either. Me either.
I don't like
Um,
it.
I mean, I like a good sleep. I do, but
Mhm.
to wake
That
up and
not that
still be
one.
sleepy, yeah,
Yeah.
I
Mm-mm.
don't like that. But
Mm.
have doctors tried to help you come up with something to see if they could I know they say that there's no cure, but I do believe in God, and I believe that God has a cure for everything. Um and I believe that he puts doctors in places to be able to help in that sense. Have doctors tried anything with you to help?
I have tried the Botox injections. That
Mhm.
was an experience in itself. I got 36 injections at one time. Um, it was an experience to say the least. It helped with my migraines, but it didn't really help with the Chiari, with the different symptoms that I was experiencing. It's frustrating when you don't deal with a Chiari specialist in a sense, because if you go to a neurosurgeon who doesn't specialize in Chiari, the ones that I've dealt with, their quick solution is to have the surgery.
Mhm.
However, the surgery is not beneficial to each person because each Chiari person who deals with Chiari, they're going to deal with different symptoms and different aspects. And so their number one thing is to try to have the surgery, to see what symptoms it helps with and see what symptoms it doesn't help with. But in my opinion, for me personally, that's just not a gamble I'm willing to take. So me and God have been rocking this
Sure.
thing out. And so I trust him better than I trust the doctors here on earth.
Right, right. Um, I know that this month is also Chiari Malformation Awareness Month, as
Mm-hmm.
it is Hydrocephalus Awareness. Um, Doing some reading, I realized that they both are connected in a
Mm-hmm.
certain way, and they both tie to spina bifida. Have
Mm-hmm.
you been tested for any of things?
No, not spinal bifida or any thing like that. However, I do have a, I guess you could say, a conditional offset that is related to Chiari, with is the epilepsia partialis continuum, and that's basically where I have localized seizures to the left side of my body. They won't ever turn into grand mal seizures or anything, but they are localized seizures to the left side of my body. And I noticed that when I get overly stressed or anything like that, or having some anxiety issues, is when those tend to be triggered. So I tend to eliminate any stress or anything that's going to cause me some stress. You got to go about your
Right,
business.
right, right, right. Um, what would you like the people to know about Chiari?
It's an invisible condition. Most people don't understand that just because I look like I'm okay doesn't necessarily mean that I am okay. Like today, I am hurting. My head hurts. That's why, number one, I got my glasses on. Number two, my neck and shoulders are on fire, because it's very tight and it hurts. Um, that just because we look like we're good and that we sound like we're okay, we're not always okay. And as you can hear, my voice is starting to do whatever.
Correct.
This is, yeah, this is another symptom that I have to deal with when I am in the middle of a flare. And so it can come, like I can wake up in the morning and be perfectly fine. Headache is minimal, but as the day goes by, the more that I'm doing, I can become easily overwhelmed. And that's one of the things that I want people to understand, that just because we look like we're okay and that we have no problems and that we have no issues, there's an underlying cause. And we just want to be treated with the same respect of a normal person that isn't dealing with anything like this, because a serious neurological condition, a brain injury, or whatever you want to call it, it is something that affects every aspect of our body, because Chiari affects the cerebellum, which is the main component in the brain that controls bodily functions. And so balance issues, voice issues, um, tinnitus, which is the ringing in the ears, vision problems, balance issues. Not only me having a stroke is also contributing to some of the things that I have to deal with, on top of um, y'all, these little fruit flies is getting on my nerves.
Yeah, it's about that time.
They are, well, I got some bananas in here too, so they not helping, because you know your nephew, he been sick. But anyway,
Yeah.
letting them know that if I drop something, don't laugh. You know, if my legs go weak in the middle of just walking, understand that I didn't trip over anything. My legs literally just gave out. And it's one of those things that I have to be mindful of, because I used to be very active, running and things of that nature. So a lot of those things I can no longer do. Like, I love
Mhm.
to lift weights, I love to run, I love to do those types of things, but I can't do those things anymore. And that's been frustrating for me, because I can't do them anymore. So I have to find things that I can do that don't gyrate my head, like just no jumping, no, heavy lifting, things of that nature. Now I'm still a little hard headed and stubborn. I'm gonna do it anyway, but I try to not do it so much.
I understand. We are both a part of the hard head committee.
Yeah,
Didi said that I believe
I'm probably the president,
I
because
don't take girl.
I
Yeah,
know.
Didi said that I definitely go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Didi said what?
I was saying that Didi said that she said that I believe in a good sleep, aka a nap. I don't take
Uh,
naps, I take sleeps.
yeah, you don't really do naps. Naps are literally 30 to 45 minutes, basically. That is what a nap
It
is.
take me that
You
long
go
to
to
get
sleep. Yeah, you get in the bed, under the cover, and
mhm.
all of the above. That's not what that is. No.
Bonnet and all.
Yeah, see, no. Uh-uh.
Bonnet and
No.
all.
No. Mm-mm. Yeah, see, I like a good nap. A
The
good
best
30 to 45 minutes, I'm good and I'm ready to go. But I'm not big on naps. Like, me taking a nap, I really don't feel good to take a nap. Like, I have
yeah.
to not feel good to take a nap. But I've been trying to do better and get a nap in here and there, but yeah, it's just not working out for me. Mm-mm.
Because I know my niece and nephews fuss about you not taking naps,
Yeah.
especially Nate Nate.
Yes. Yes. They
So,
constantly fussing
um,
about it.
yeah. So we need you to do better and invest in some naps, ma'am.
Yeah, my nap bank is actually full of deposits. I've only taken very few withdrawals on those naps, and I get fussed at about that quite regularly.
I know you do. I know
Hmm.
you do. Um, I know that you're also an author and you also have your own publishing brand and company. Um, how has having Kiari, um, how am I trying to put this? How has that inspired you to where you are today?
Number one, I will say it has inspired me to actually stay focused on what I can do because Kiari, like I said, it is a progressive condition. And also having a stroke, it forced me to stay active, keep my brain active, keep my brain moving. Because if I don't use, as the old saying goes, what you don't use, you lose. And I refuse to,
Mhm.
you know, what knowledge I have. And so I push myself to actually um stay on top of everything. Like when I started the writing journey, I had no idea about formatting. I didn't know how to edit. I didn't know any of those things. I knew how to write, but as far as writing and putting a book together or anything like that, I had no idea. And writing the second book, I wrote about Kiari, and I wrote about my stroke and how I was able to continue to raise my children. And it is titled Struggle, Strength, and Success. Kiari Malformation Won't Win. Because I refuse to allow Kiari to control my life in the sense of being stuck
Right.
in the bed and being um, just not having the quality of life that I feel I deserve. And so being able to push myself and teach myself the things that I need. I want to make sure that any client that I get who's wanting to write a book or anything like that, I want them to know that I've started where they are. And so I know how to get them to the next phase, which is becoming published. And it's a greater experience when you can actually take somebody from beginning to the finished product, and me
Right.
going through it myself, I can take you from start to finish, and I'm always going to push other people when I see that they can do. I don't believe in limitations, I'll say that. And so if I come in contact with somebody and they feel like they can't do something, can't ends up getting out of their vocabulary because can't doesn't exist. It's always where can't, could, and can and shall. And so you have to replace that can't word with can and will and shall. And so when you do that, that changes the perspective on people.
Hmm. Well, I, I like to pat myself on the back for getting you started to writing because I wrote my first book in 2018 and I came to you as fast as I could. Listen, you need to put your poetry in books. You need to do this, that, and the third. And you looked at me like you're looking right now because your face says a whole lot.
Mhm.
And it's a it's a humbling experience for me watching you grow into where you are now, going from writing writing a book and not being too happy with how it came out to actually having your own publishing business where you are taking in clients and helping them get their brand off the ground. My voice
Mhm.
is gone. I've been on the road all day.
It's okay.
Um so I am struggling. I'm not gonna keep you because I know you said your head is hurting, but, before I let you go, is there any final thoughts that you would like to share with the audience?
Um, just be mindful of September is Kiari Malformation Month. Um, get to know someone who is dealing with an invisible condition, not just Chiari, but hydrocephalus, spinal bifida, lupus, MS, Crohn's disease, anything that you cannot see with the visible eye. Because just because, and I try not to be rude because, people will always say, well, you don't look sick. And I try really
Right.
hard not to be a smart, but I have to say
Yeah.
sometimes you don't look stupid, but yet here we are because it's annoying
Right.
for when somebody says you don't look sick. I didn't know I needed to walk around with a label on my face or my forehead that says, "Hey, I'm sick.
I'm
There's
sick.
something wrong with me." Yeah, I don't feel like I need to do that. Now there are days when I feel like my shirt says, we need space. Me and Kiari do need space. We need to take a day apart. But that's
Right.
not gonna happen. So I'm learning to
Mhm.
embrace what I have to deal with Kiara because it's just days where it is not going to let up. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult, but I choose to not give in. And anybody that you know that is dealing with a unseen illness, give them some grace because at some point you're going to be dealing with something. It may not be you personally, but it may be someone that you know. So extend grace to someone else because it is not easy to go from what you knew was normal to a new normal because every day is a different day for me. I fear going to sleep. Number one, because I had a stroke. I woke up different after having that stroke. And I still tried to be in
Right.
denial about having the stroke because I was still going to work until I couldn't feel my left arm. And then I drove myself to the hospital because I was still in denial of what a doctor had just told me. So I'm
Right.
very stubborn. I'm very hard headed, and I think that's part of the reason why God has kept me here. And me and him, we go back and forth all the time. Like, God, look here. I don't know what you got on this agenda for me, but there's something, there's a purpose, there's a reason. And so I just want people to understand that Kiara is not an easy condition to deal with. We fight, we are in pain, but we do what we are called to do because a lot of us are not just existing, but we're living. We're living the new normal. Like I'm still able to drive. I'm still able to work. I'm still able to do those things, but there are limits to it. It is frustrating. It is hard. But love somebody with grace. Give them the grace that you would expect to receive if you were in on the other receiving end of it. But
Yes.
extend grace.
How can the people support you during Chiari Malformation Month?
The color is purple. So if you want to wear purple and make a post or something that says I love someone who has Kiari. The other thing is you can donate to the Kiari Foundation. They usually do a walk. If there's not one around here, maybe one day I'll consider setting up a Kiari walk around here, but there's a Conquer Kiari Foundation that you can donate to. Um, and also, if you're experiencing these things, because oftentimes we are misdiagnosed, that was one of the things that I was misdiagnosed for years with having Chiari. These are symptoms that I noticed as a little girl and in my early teens was not only the headaches because I was diagnosed with just having migraines. That was it. But these types, Chiari headaches do not last. Well, they last longer than a week sometimes. And this was one of the things because
Hmm.
a typical migraine will last you maybe 2 to 3 days, but a Chiari headache can last about a week, if not longer sometimes. And so be mindful of that. Also advocate for yourself. I had nosebleeds, I have heart palpitations, numbness and tingling in my hands and my feet, where I used to think that I had tied my shoes too tight. But these are things that people need to look out for when dealing with Kiara. And don't be afraid to ask for an MRI. Ask for those things and ask for your medical records if you've been to the ER and they told you just had migraines or whatever. Make sure you get a copy, a written copy of your notes from that visit at the ER, simply because they may tell you one thing in that room, but they have noted in your chart something totally different. So when you get that hard
Right.
copy of your visit, you're going to find out more things of what they didn't tell you. So always get that, advocate for yourself, ask the necessary questions. Also, don't take every prescription that the doctor prescribes for you simply because some medications that they prescribe for you cause ultimate other symptoms that you don't want to have to deal with.
Mhm.
So if you're on medication now that is supposed to be treating your headache, understand that it could cause kidney damage later on, especially if they're telling you, well, we're going to have to monitor your kidneys function 6 months from now. So we'll have to have you come in and do this. And so be mindful of that. One of the medications that they do use to treat Chiari is Topamax. One of those, that medicine, I did not realize. I had been on it for years, from 2009 until 2018. And so being on that
Mhm.
for so long, I did not realize that it caused calcium buildup until I had a kidney stone for the very first time in 2020. And so when I had that kidney
Mhm.
stone, I'm a researcher. I do research, and then I realized that this was a medicine that I had been taking for years. And so finding that out, it was like, okay, yeah, we can't do this. And if we do, make sure that in moderation that I'm doing the things that I can, even if I have to go back on this medication later on down the line, I know what to do to help myself to prevent the calcium buildup again. So just be mindful. Don't always take every single prescription that the doctor prescribes. I'm one of those people that I will argue with my, in which I do, with my primary care provider about medications, because you're not just going to give me a medication because you say you think, or let's try. No, I'm not your guinea pig. We're not going to let's just try and see. And
Right.
also, they'll tell you that, okay, if you start this medication, give it um a little, like a month or so to try. Really, all you need is 14 days for that medicine to get into your system, to notice whether or not it's going to do something to actually help you. After those 14 days, if nothing has changed, you can stop that medication. They will try to tell you that you can't stop a medication that quickly. If you were not born taking that medication, you can stop that medication. It is not
Right.
going to change anything outside of that. That is one of the misleading things that doctors will tell you. If I start you on this medication, you can't just stop it. You can. You can stop it the same way you started it. Give it,
Right.
yeah, give it 14 days to get in your system a good little bit. And once you have realized what it's doing, if it's helping, then continue to take the medication. If it's not helping and you're not seeing any results, then stop taking the medication. Don't get yourself caught up into where you're constantly taking a medication that now you got to get your kidneys checked, now you got to get this checked, your blood pressure is prone to spike because you're on this medication. It could go either way. And that's one of the things why I am so adamant about not taking prescriptions anymore. Is if I don't see the benefit, we ain't gonna argue about it. I'm just not gonna take it. Me and God gonna have a conversation. He gonna give me a couple of other solutions, and I'm gonna go with what He recommends more
Right.
so than what man recommends. And I can say that God has kept me this far with being diagnosed with Chiari, and He is keeping me functioning. Now, some days I'm a little hard headed and I'm a little stubborn. I'll be liking to listen to him too, but he always come back to me and sit me down and be like, "Okay, you didn't listen. Now you got to sit over here for a couple days because you was hard headed. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm still learning, and we got to go back and forth. But I'ma always be obedient as best I can. He knows the child that he created, and he knows that she can be very stubborn and wants to do it her way to see what the outcome gonna be. But most of the time, he always right. I will say
Absolutely. Absolutely.
that.
Well, I thank you for joining me tonight to talk about Chiari malformation and to raise awareness for it. I'm not going to hold you. I want you to go and rest, lay down, do what you need to do.
Well, I'm gonna lay down for just a little bit because my grandbaby gonna be over here. Her mama didn't want to go to the movies, child. So
Okay.
I'm gonna have little mama here in the
Tell
little.
Moo, tell Moo we're going to take a nap. It's
And
8:33. Tell her we go take a nap.
we gonna see how this gonna go. She's a night owl. She's her
Oh, wow.
mother's child. Yeah, she's her mother's child. And I quickly tell her, listen, grandma is going to bed. Whatever you choose to do, you can do it right in this space. But outside of that, we gonna have a little problem. She be like, okay, TT. So she usually is okay. But if I give her this bath tonight with the little nighttime bath, oh, she'll be out in 30
Mhm.
minutes. So I ain't
Mhm.
even gonna worry about it because that little stuff put me out. I use the baby nighttime bath myself and I
Mhm.
be asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
like it too. We tried it on Kay, but Kay, she's allergic to lavender, so
oh goodness.
she can't have it. But
Mm.
I use it, and it just
Listen,
it extends
listen,
her.
another natural thing you can get for kids to help them sleep at night, and that is tart cherry juice.
Okay.
Yeah, it's tart cherry juice. Now I drink it only because I like this is another natural thing that I do. And that is it helps with inflammation. And so when you're having joint pain or anything like that, so you take 2 teaspoons in the morning and 2 teaspoons at night, and it helps. It also helps with lowering the blood pressure and sugar cravings and things of that nature as well. So tart cherry juice, 100% tart cherry juice is very tart but it's good when it's cold, and it's actually better than cranberry juice. So get you some tart cherry juice.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try
It's
that.
good. Yeah, it'll help you sleep too. It's good, but it's good for kids. So don't give them a lot. Just give them a little bit right before bed, and then they'll be good. And if she doesn't have any peanut allergies or anything like that, she can take and this is good for yourself too. Like these are all little things that I do. If you can't sleep, take a spoonful of peanut butter. It
Oh,
helps. So
hmm.
yeah.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah, see, I like I said, I'm very, very weird when it comes to certain things, and I've eliminated taking a lot of prescription medications for that particular reason. So if I can find something that is natural and that it works, I'm sticking to that because at one point I was on, I want to say 6 different medications at one time, and I was a walking zombie, and I did not like that feeling. And I have not been back on any of those medications now since I want to say 2019.
Okay.
So I've been heavy medication, prescription medications free since then. So everything I do now is if it ain't natural, I ain't got it. I don't know
Right.
what it is.
Right. Well, I want to take a moment and thank you for coming on tonight. Tell the listeners about your podcast real quick.
Okay, my podcast is titled Believe in the Journey, and it is every second Sunday and fourth Thursday of the month. And I will be doing a full understanding of Kiari on September the 14th at 8 p.m. So make sure you guys tune in because I'm going to talk about the types of Kiari malformation. There are 4 types, and so I want you guys to understand that, and then I'm gonna give you a little bit more about me and my journey with Kiari. So I'll try not to keep you guys too long, but Kiari is a lot of information to cover. So I may end up doing both shows for the month of September. on Chiari malformation. I haven't decided just yet, but yeah, make sure you tune in Sunday, September the 14th at 8 p.m. to Believe in the Journey. If you are wanting to write a book, you can come and talk to me about that. We can have a consultation call and we can get your vision out there. That is Wings of Transformation Publishing. Business page is on Facebook, or you can contact me directly. Travita Harris. If you're having trouble, remember my name. I always give you this little cheesy analogy, and that is if you can remember Velveeta cheese, you can say Travita. So you'll always remember my name. Um, Anything else I got going on? I don't think so.
Okay.
Outside of that, yeah, no, I don't got nothing else.
Okay. Well, thank you again for joining me tonight. It's been a pleasure as always. I will be back on the fourth Friday of this month with my co-host Dee Dee, discussing spina bifida because, well, hydrocephalus because
Yeah,
this is
yeah, it's
hydrocephalus.
had the Sagittarius month, yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
that
mean
color is blue
teal.
or teal.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's teal.
Yeah.
So, look out for that, and I thank you all for tuning in tonight. Have a good night.
Bye.